what will those op bans be? Last time they banned, last match they banned the anti-roam operators to an extent. Hibana, what didn't get banned last time but will be this time. So that will help a little bit. It means there won't be any shots from the window. Good old Veli.
Wow, okay, Fox. I didn't know that I was losing my job until Veli posted that tweet, casting with you of all people.
Sorry, bud.
I had to be replaced. I'm getting too old. I need a younger Viral man.
I don't want to say it, but it's out there now. Cat's out of the bag.
I like cats.
I like putting them in bags. All right, well, Nomad being banned is actually another anti-roam operator essentially being banned. But Valkyrie, I think, being banned will be potentially a bit of a game changer. We saw how strong it was coming from the last match. And Spacestation banning that, to me, almost feels like a target ban against Laxing, who can just destroy with that MPX sometimes. Just a great flanker with the Valkyrie. So I got to imagine it's for that. Definitely is a strong counter ban for that. Jackal will finally come out here, though, now that he's not banned or anything. They also could play with Lion. Could even sixth pick to it now. They're actually going to go with the Maverick, of course, to replace the Hibana, so no surprise there. And that's the only problem with the Hibana ban, means you need essentially 2 operators to replace Hibana to an extent. Because there are situations where you can get away with just Hibana and not Thermite.
Yep. But
you definitely, if you don't have Hibana, you need Thermite and Maverick for sure.
That's the same thing if you're playing on a map like Clubhouse, it's the same thing. I mean, you'll see what are the others. Sometimes it's the Thermite that's banned and not the Hibana. On bank, it makes more sense to ban the Hibana if you really want to restrict your opponents with all the hatches that are up and available. And because Reciprocity are starting off on the defense, this obviously plays into their game plan. It's like, okay, well, we're starting off on defense. We make sure that we can prepare things on our...
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we'll see if that works out for them. There's definitely no guarantee that that will be the case, that it makes any difference at all, especially if they're good at using Maverick. We saw how good Fox is on Maverick on Clubhouse, as you mentioned, when the Thatcher ban came through last time in the EG versus the Reciprocity match. So I don't doubt that Fox will be able to do his job on that Maverick just fine, and that the Hibana ban might slow things down a little bit, but I don't think it will make a huge difference here. Spacestation might just, in the end, be gimping themselves similar to the way that EG did with the Thatcher ban. So it seems like a risky play. Rampy, very aggressive holding the sewer angle right there. Instead of playing behind the servers, just holding a tight angle from the side. Laxing also very good on Thatcher. He's played a lot of Thatcher in the past, and no surprise to see him on that role here. Sky's on Thermite, though. Interesting choice instead of, say, having Retro, for example. Retro has played a fair amount of Jackal, though, so I guess that part's not a surprise.
Reciprocity really have nobody to fight against early on, so...
All right, just walk on in.
Walk on in.
I hope this is not going to be like the Rogue match.
Oh, God.
Just didn't really do anything to fight it. They were just like, come on in. We give up. Typical angle being opened up on the bottom there. For those of you who aren't used to it, it's used to help you fight the top of the server stairs here, as you can see. Something that's very useful. You even see sometimes C4 being pre-placed there, as we saw, I think it was maybe Geo doing? I don't remember. To be able to counter this as well. The nice thing, of course, was that increased range means that happened a while back. You can catch footprints from there as well. Now the Jaeger is going to be spotted, so no roaming for him, which is always nice to be able to catch that. That range buff to Jackal made such a huge difference on how useful he was as an operator. He went from being like super risky to play to much, much better.
There's an operator that, yes, when you wanted to scan certain footprints, you would have to risk it.
It's that you can do it vertically now. There's the big game changer like we just saw.
Exactly. It's 8 meters now, so you have quite a bit of leeway for these sorts of things. So it's pretty good. He was always an underrated operator, I think, and this definitely put him in the right spot.
Yeah, especially on this map where he's typically played anyways. Here's the usual fight at the top of server stairs. It looks like they're going to go work as a team here and try and cover the bottom as well as they're expecting. C4 unfortunately doesn't get all up, but Rampy does, taking the Sky's head off. Now that's a hard breach loss. The Slaughter is thinking nade catches too.
Fox and Retro that are so poised here for the hatch play just get completely overwhelmed by the shotgun. And Rampy with another one. That's 2K for him and the 2 for thinking nade. Chala will land the last one on Mark as the Shark will not be able to bite, and it's a flawless round for Spacestation here at the first defense. One good thing for Reciprocity is that they won't be seeing the site for a couple more rounds.
Yeah, that is the one blessing in disguise, of course. But man, that was the polar opposite of the Rogue match from earlier. That was just Rampy absolutely playing off it, and just them continuing to peek the hatch, thinking they could trade it, along with the delay at the top of server stairs. Rampy didn't even take any damage as far as I saw the entire time. It was just fantastically played, and unfortunately Reciprocity just not really having much of an answer other than to stick their faces down the hole. All that time spent with Maverick opening that hatch just completely backfiring at that point. So, well played by Spacestation, and a great start for them for that inevitable draw. They're going to be going up to that top floor with the castle for CEO. Jacko going to come out again for Reciprocity. Of course, they know the site's going to be different. They got to imagine they're anticipating CEO being the secondary site, not likely to be Tellers, although that, of course, is always a possibility. Same lineup coming out, though, for the attack here. We'll see if they can get the wall open as efficiently as we saw earlier from TSM on the CEO room.
It really depends on potential roam play. Spacestation don't really look like they would like to do anything like that in this round.
Yeah.
It's a nice spot for Evil Eye.
Yeah. I like the creativity. You can't get as many spots as Black Eyes, but there's still a lot of creativity to it, like the ways you can place them.
You're ruining a beautiful leather couch, but...
No, you're augmenting it.
It's like adding accessories. This doubles its price.
Yeah, you can see who's sitting on it from afar on your phone, you know, when you're not at home. Like, who's on my couch? It's Rick James. All right, Sky's going to go up and start to help with the push here. Finally, as he's done doing his initial droning. Typical for a Thermite, of course, to be doing a lot of that initial droning for them. But they're all working together as a team, and that's the thing, is making sure that you're actually droning for each other. But we're still, again, seeing some individual droning, something that is always a concern for me with Reciprocity, because I feel like it doesn't work out that great for them. The advantage, of course, of droning for yourself is when you see someone in position, you don't have to try and communicate that or call that out the same way, as it can be difficult to call out an exact position in a room. Instead, you can just work off that information yourself. But I think that is still problematic, having, say, for example, the Thermite doing a lot of the initial droning for you. It's not just that he's droning for you and that helps, it's that he's also not getting himself killed early, as we saw, for example, the Thermite getting killed a little bit early last time with Skies. Because, of course, he's going to be the diffuse carrier most of the time, as well as being essential to getting walls open, which are usually important here. Of course, in theory, sure, Maverick could do something to help with that, but this is getting a little stalled out here as Fox is looking for anyone trying to peek as they get everyone organized into the room. Pulse, though, the one getting tracked here by Jackal, looks like he's actually on the hunt. Try and find where those footprints end.
Rampy, you're playing a rough game there.
Yeah. Rampy is a good Pulse player, but there's only so much you can do when you're being tracked like that other than try and see if they're coming for you.
I mean, Rampy is a pretty good player in general, that's for sure.
That was... What? The Spider-Man play.
Skylight.
That was interesting. I thought he was stuck in midair somehow. You just rarely see that. Like, there was one time we saw Blackbeard rappelling upside down inside. I think it was Laxing rappelling upside down inside the main lobby once. But that was a different style play there from Mark. I just
Spider.
New meta.
Spider shark.
That's right. That's
Whatever
right. The shark.
Spider shark does.
If only there was a shark operator. Oh, the peak attempt here from Chella actually gets stunned out. Doesn't quite catch him, but Bosco does catch Mark, who can Spider-Man no more. Diffuser actually going down. What is happening here? The plant, again, another early CEO plant as 2 kills come back out from Chala and Rampy. To follow that. Oh, Laxing as well.
On top, he's got a drone as well, so it gives him information. I'm not sure if he can even spot the diffuser being planted in the position it is, and I'm not sure if SSD even know where the last player is at this point. They might just have to dive out and fight Laxing in that position. Boltz has the shotgun in hand, and he's looking. He finds one. That's Bosco, actually, that already gets the kill. Laxing will have to rappel onto the side. There's a bit of time left as the dive out will happen. Laxing will find 1 kill on a Fultz, trying to protect the diffuser with all he's got, but he gets shot right in the face, and Bosco will save the day.
Oh, will he make it, though?
Set the diffuser? Yes.
No!
Oh!
What? You can see the race of the timers there.
No.
Just delayed long enough.
Where was his teammate?
Just delayed long enough.
Oh, no. Laxing saves the day.
That is a very familiar phrase. The man is a clutch player. That is...
Knowing exactly when to get... I mean, honestly, that was by a hair, but man.
Yeah. Did his job. So, CEO, they will try again. That was a sneaky early plant, though. Again, we're seeing a lot of those where a lot of these teams have to give up a lot of control of the CEO office because of the windows and the window play, as well as the hole being opened up at the top of the, or the back, rather, of the CEO office. Because of that, they just have to play so much outside and depend on things like Maestro Evilize that they might not have time to watch, except for dead players, that they just can't seem to be in great positions to actually stop the defuse from being planted. I was going to say the solution to that is to bring Echo, and that's exactly what Foltz is doing. He just needs to be in a position where he can stay alive to watch it with the Echo drone, because that is one thing that can stop it in a stealthy way. But the counter to that, IQ coming out here from Fox, as well as they've got the Thatcher now. Thatcher doesn't destroy the Yokai, but it certainly can stop it long enough for them to potentially get a plant off by stunning. And I don't know if the timing is exactly long enough for you to get a plant off, but usually a lot of times they're going to be waiting till the end of your plant to be able to try and hit you with it.
Yeah.
So if you time it at the right place, you could stop them from potentially doing anything about it. And most times there isn't two Yokai in the same place, and even if there was, they'd both get hit by the E1D. So there's some potential here to stop Foltz from stopping them, but of course it all comes down to timing.
Yep. It really is about how you space them out to avoid the double EMP kill, because when it happens, definitely is a scary situation. Retro along the outside. We've seen so much damage done by Nyx in this position, our very first matchup of the evening, and you really don't want to lose 3 players for free in this spot, do you?
He got very close to losing his life as well. He was prone just as Retro was firing over his head, but might track some footprints at some point to be able to try and finish the job, although a footprint won't tell you if they're standing or prone, but you got to assume they might be prone if your first headshot attempts don't work. Mark, in the meantime, droning upstairs, trying to get an idea how well defended Janitor is, and the answer is empty as heck. So he's actually going to go and try and take some pre-fire to open up an angle to try and help stop them from rotating in or out of that. In the meantime, they're going to use that to help open up the wall here potentially as well. This guy's looking for anyone downstairs. And Retro, yet again, on the prowl, still looking for Rampy. I think the result of this fight is going to help decide whether or not this goes in their favor.
Oh, the Nitro!
Oh,
yes!
No, I'm Mark. Retro trades it off at least.
Rampy has already been eliminated, as you just saw, but he's done his work. He's gotten the kill. It was a Zofia. It's not really your highlight operator as well, but an equilibrium in terms of trade between the two sides.
I think this is the second round in a row. Mark was the first to die, unfortunately.
Some pressure being put downstairs, but you already see Retro just watching the one rotation hole that's set, and all the marks are coming up against the castle. At this point, Thinking Nade is pretty much his death is a foregone conclusion.
Feels bad.
Fox? Okay.
Oh, he's just taking control. Chala, though, easily finishes him off. All you hear is the scream in the distance.
So Fox got baited into Janitor and gets shot down as
they could mop him up.
And Thinking Nade actually survives and he finds Retro. So they could mop him up. Oh, man.
Oh, good, you got that.
I heard that. He got mopped up in Janitor. You know?
I don't get the connection. Well, Thinking Nade not only survives, he's actually on the roam now. It is a huge man advantage here, especially with Laxing almost at no health and Sky's now dead. Laxing has got to go for this, but he's just going to get swiftly executed here in a matter of seconds.
Yep, there you go. Thinking Nade with a final frag on Laxing. Man, Spacestation really played this excellently, and you can see why we kind of get bummed when we see SSG getting so many times or as many as they do, because you see the potential, you see the rounds out there, and you're like, well, how does this happen?
Yeah. I blame Lycan. CCTV, again we go, as they finally have one CEO, but since they tried it twice, there's been enough distance now so they can try and win the CCTV again. Last time, it was the slaughter through the hatch was the story of this. Rampy going back on that Jaeger. I got to imagine maybe they were trying to tease playing Tellers by having the castle there, just so Reciprocity wasn't sure if it's going to be Tellers or Basement. But it will be Basement, and they will be go back down there. Because we know, for example, you can't get tricked like that, you know, as Necrox alluded to when he was talking about why they brought the Monty, thinking it was going to be downstairs and then ended up being CEO. So you can't always count on where they're going to go. But of course, you certainly tried. Foltz going to be on the pulse this time. Again, I don't think we've seen a ton of kills from Foltz. I mean, I don't have the scoreboard up in front of me, but I am expecting a little bit more from him, just in terms of, as a player picked up, he was a very strong player. So I would have just thought there would have been a bit more out of him. Still, some late reinforcements happening here as Rampy still has all his ADSs and barbed wire in hand, and then what you saw there was a reinforcement not set. There we go, that Bosco's sitting now. Rampy setting up 2 ADSs here in the server stairs to help Thinking A to be able to guard that. He's going to be the one playing the shotgun, rather than, of course, having the smoke do it, because Bosco's, I imagine, going to be playing downstairs. One more ADS in pocket, though, for Rampy. Gotta wonder if he's going to try and hold on to that for some kind of last-minute defense, or if he's actually going to try and go back to site at some point and set that up once he decides he knows which way they're coming.
Reciprocity just going around and making sure that there's nobody preparing from SSG to really pounce on top of them from the back. We saw the power of the pulse in general, and if you can shut down any operators like that early on in the round, then you won't really have to deal with them or think about them later on. Fox will enter this time on the Maverick, as we saw him before on this very specific site as well. Come into the open area. Can very easily breach torch into the basement and eliminate at least one of the hatches there. Have some flexibility for later on. It's been kind of up in the air what a lot of Mavericks will do once they've opened up the hatch, because some of them maybe will try for another one. Maybe they'll open up a tiny hole where they can chuck flashes down into the red hallway from the second hatch in the open area. And some will also leave an extra bit of their charge to use on the server wall downstairs in the basement. This allows them to utilize that angle for any anti-C4 plays, a way to just deal with any sort of throwables that the defenders are looking to use to eliminate all of the, well, potential for site plants at that point. Usually the thermite will be on that roll.
This is looking similar to last time.
Oh, man. Nitro cell is out and will not connect. No damage done. And SMG-11 actually is doing the work. Not sure why the shotgun was not out in Thinking Nade's hands, but he still finds one. And it's, again, Mark being eliminated. Unfortunately, Rampy taken away on an unfortunate spot there for him behind the servers. It's definitely a situation or position that you expect.
Well, down to 3 people left. This looks like Team Reciprocity could finally get this round. They're starting to get set up for the potential execute. The long angle being held by Chala. The fight we see so often now, for example, that Slashhug was playing so often before on the Echo, which, of course, the Echo being banned. Or no, sorry, the Echo's not banned. Could be played. Was played earlier, my bad. Mark, though, the only one dead here at the moment. This looks like it's going down here. They need to stop this plant. Fultz being on the pulse needs to be calling that out. Not sure if they're stopping it. I hear the smoke's going out, so I can imagine they are. And actually, Skies falls due to the smoke, but that is typical to lose the thermite on that because, of course, you got to bait out utility, and thermites are short for this world. Disposable operators, unfortunately. Missed C4 throw there, but push in from Retro, unfortunately, falls to Bosco. 2v3 here. Space Station starting to lose men left and right from a flank from Fox. Fox gets 2 and 3. The slaughter in Red Hall, aptly named for all the blood sprayed around of the remnants of SSG.
Man, Fox, what a beautiful play from the Canadian man himself. And he turns around and just smacks everybody from Space Station. And this is what happens with Space Station every single time.
Yeah.
They get so close and then fizzles out.
At least they just completely demolished him the first time there was the attack on the CCTV, through the hatch. So, they got that one. It's tied up right now, which sounds oh so familiar for SSG. They are going to go down to CCTV again, try one more time. That seems to be the story these days of playing on Bank. Kite going to be the 6th pick, though, to try and shake things up a little bit, make those hatches a little bit harder, but it's really not going to make a huge difference when they're going to be playing with Maverick anyway. So I'm not sure how much they gain from that, potentially using it, I suppose, on the wall if they're going to try and stop the thermite instead. That could be one way to play it. Skies all the way to 0. Same with Mark. Just not a ton of frags coming. It's kind of funny to see a tied score, and then you look at the kills, and it's like way lower for Reciprocity. They're winning on objective. So I guess there is that. We'll see if they can be a little more effective this time in stopping the diffuser from going down.
Shaw again on the Maestro. The Evil Eye being set in the garage will give you all the info that you need later on in the round. Is something that Fox uses pretty well, but also in general, Reciprocity are very wise to rotate later in the round, play from garage, even though Fox basically just dropped from the main stairs. There was enough manpower from Space Station to deal with it, but it was all focused on the one singular entry into the site and not really on anything else, even though they had the advantage is there. Laxing will be the spearhead for this assault, and he goes in on the Thatcher.
That's an interesting choice to kind of entry on the Thatcher right there.
He's got a gun.
He sure does. I mean, it's Laxing, but it's just... Laxing is one of the few people I'd see brave enough to do that, just because I feel like he could pull it off.
What if one day we had an operator that literally did not have anything that shoots and was all...
Like a
utility.
shield plus? Like if Clash's electricity did a significant amount more damage?
Literally no damage at all. And it's all utility. You cannot do any damage except for knife.
This is why they don't listen to us anymore.
Anymore.
This is why Sledge doesn't throw his hammer.
Anymore. Someone hasn't watched all the Thor movies.
Well, Sky's looking for any cameras here set up by the Valkyrie. There isn't one, because they're just verifying that to make sure. And they are going to go down for potential flanking. Now, last time Fox's flank, I imagine from the main stairs probably was, so I doubt it was from Garage, was crucial to making the play as he was able to get that triple that ended up in Red Hallway. So they are going to need to deal with, of course, the Maestro, who was playing from that angle last time as well, and they know it. That's why they're droning it first. I like them using the doors to help with that as well, but they're actually droning Vault. Is it going to be a Vault drop? It certainly seems like that could be the case here. They've got the Vault open now. So once they feel comfortable, I suppose, knowing enough information about where everyone's playing at, and I don't know, I guess pick up the diffuser, they'll be in a good position to potentially do this. And Retro, of course, could potentially see footprints to see if anyone rotates that way. Sky's, in the meantime, holding down the top of server stairs, though. This looks like a setup for a Vault drop. Of course, smokes can come out from Retro. And this will maybe nullify the Kaid a bit, as it looks like Execute might be coming down.
Already 2 kills here, 1 for Laxing to follow up. Zofia, the only one lost, as again, Mark with the first one to be bitten in it. Nitrocell thrown up by the Clyde as Vault is close. Nitrocell thrown up right behind it will connect. Eliminating Fox A 3v3 now. And make that a 3v2 as Retro will find one on the Jackal, but a quick refract from thinking Nate taking out Laxing. Clyde and the Mute last alive, and Clyde will find the kill. Well done by Rampy. And last in is Skies. He's got all the team's hope, and Spacestation are looking to put a third round on the board. And Rampy's watching the one cross as the fire is heard from the Thermite. Clyde will turn around and find the kill. Great job by Spacestation here, realizing where these salts coming from. Reciprocity, but I feel it was a bit too telegraphed.
Yeah, it's just they took a little bit too long on the setup for it. Then, of course, had to throw the smokes down, get set up for that. They gave it away. And then the pulse play with the C4. How often do you see someone throw a C4 just around the corner, like a foot away from them, to stop the defuse like that? That was a somewhat ballsy play, but the right one to make at that time. And then denying the diffuser, the big problem was, of course, it left the diffuser trapped inside the site where they were all forced to push it rather than being able to fight from upstairs like they were hoping, because the idea was you get the plant down and take a lot of the fights from above and then be able to rotate late. But in that situation, they were forced to mostly just do the fights from above and then push down. Try and get it. Fox, though, going to sneak a 6th pick over to the Sledge instead of playing the Maverick. But we're actually going to see a 6th pick as well to Mozzie from Bosco. Should be interesting. Of course, now that they want CCTV, they're going to be on a different bomb site, which I believe is Teller's here. Or is it open area? Let's see what the scoreboard is. But Sky still yet finding kills. The Thermite that is not fragging out. No, it's going to be open area. All right.
All right.
Brave.
Spacestation used to run this as well in the past. Rogue was actually a team that ran open area.
Yeah. Well, we saw it as the 6th defense for EG as well, and also a failure for them, which is frequently the case for this bomb site. I'd love the Spleck here to bring out the stats if he was here on how often this bomb site is actually won, because I'm pretty sure it's almost never.
I think Secret is like one of the most successful teams on playing the site specifically. But they're no longer in PL, so.
Oh, tragic.
Sorry, Leon. Love you.
All the Secret fans out there. Does that mean people don't know who they are? All right, well, there's a typical setup for this. Of course, you can use castle barricades to control where people can go. You set up the rotate from the kitchen into the small office in a way that doesn't really expose you to fire. Laxing looking for any roamers that are going to be upstairs. In the meantime, as you see the drones going around, and of course, I got to imagine Retro taking some peeks down as well to look for any footprints on the upstairs. And that's the big thing, is it's not just about getting footprints in terms of like scanning them. It's also about seeing if people have rotated around in that area and being able to follow the footprints even manually. Sky's, though, taking advantage of Castle Barricade to drone one of the players that's actually on their camera as well. And as one of the Castle Barricades, it's always important, is setting up that so they have to kind of push a weird way. But the sneaky 6th pick from Fox to the Sledge will help out with this, not to mention you've got the remote breaches of mark, but oh, that pest going to be a big problem in them getting an idea who's actually playing in that room. It'd be nice if maybe even the explosion from the barricade, the castle barricade, if they open it, would actually take out the pest at the same time, potentially.
I'm not sure how close it is. It really depends on where you use the charge, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not sure how big the explosion is in terms of splash like that, but yeah. Interesting to see, although it looks like they managed to get a drone in through the other door. They are able to spot the castle of Rampy. Now, Rampy's definitely been a big pain for them a lot of the time. Jackal tracking on Bosco is just forcing him all the way downstairs where they're not really going to hunt him just yet.
There we go, finally spotted. Mark will relay that information back to his teammates and then jump on in from the second hole opened up here with the office into the kitchen. So a big thing with this site is really spreading out. You need the castle, I think, is extremely important and essential for a defense in open area because it really allows you to block off a lot of lines of sight, especially when you're going to have a lot of rotation holes. You're very pinched in when playing an open area, and just having a lot of positions to run around between is great for you as a defensive team, and also having a lot of extra angles for your teammates to support you. But the loss here, the castle will be eliminated. Again, not a huge loss in terms of pure power for the defense. A 4v5.
It is Rampy, though. There's the pests again, slowing that down and denying their ability to drone there. And that's a big problem here, is their lack of ability to drone.
The amount of time left, there's not much. Thinking Nate has not been spotted. He finds one kill. And the second one? No, not so close. Retro and Fox will actually get 2 kills of their own. Thinking Nate coming around from the back. He's got Diffuser to be watched. He needs to walk away. 10 seconds are in. Retro team kills Fox. It's not the play that you're looking for. Thinking Nade sprays on in, but Retro finds him. No! Thinking Nade! You had the Diffuser.
He knew they knew he would be at it and just trying to take the smart flank. He could have actually used that angle to fight them. I'm not sure if he was aware that that was open there. Well, good play by Reciprocity, who actually looked like they were starting to fall apart a little bit with the flank from Thinking Nade because of time and their inability to go for a plant with that, but too little too late. Now we switch sides. Laxi going to be the one to be playing Mozzie this time, and Retro and Kaede, assuming they stick to those. The same lineup as we saw pretty much for the most part from Reciprocity coming out for SSG, but no, Retro's going to sneak over to the Pulse. Of course, they're going to be playing CCTV, so Pulse, very, very helpful downstairs to be able to spot when they're coming and know what the right timing is, especially when you don't have a smoke. You're going to be depending on the 2 C4s, or actually, sorry, 3 C4s that you're going to have, I got to imagine, on Pulse, Mozzie, and Mute. No, actually, Mozzie's carrying barbed wire for Laxing here, okay? So I got to imagine he's probably going to be playing on a roam. That's what Laxing does, and he's going to actually use those pests potentially the way you could use Mute Jammers to kind of deny their ability to drone you out. I could see that being a big part of the way he's going to play this, potentially. Sky's actually reinforcing the wall here from Lone Office into the Teller's hallway, which may actually be pretty helpful if they're going to be playing a roam with the rotate. Look, it looks like they're going to be see the rotate Sky's go through right now. So Laxing probably going to be setting up his pests around to try and trap here. You could set 1 per door, 1 on the door Sky's is at, 1 at the other door, and then 1 on the Archives door. Thank you, Marcio, for highlighting that. The only thing is, of course, the rotate still will be available, so you can't completely deny it, but there is a mute, so if they combine the two, it might be difficult, because if you set it where the rotation hole is, you can't jump the pest, whereas with the mute jammer, they would potentially be able to jump that, so they could potentially deny all this, along with also some Legion goo mines to also things out. This looks like it could even be a 3-person roam, which would be fantastic if true, because that's so rare to see, especially if they're set up to fall back to site efficiently, which is the really tricky part, right, is getting away alive when you've burned up a ton of time.
Well, SSG is a 3-3 here. This is not a spot you really want to be in. And I say that even more because Space Station, more often than not, it looks like a tie.
Here we go again.
Oh,
22%.
Shit. Here we go again.
Well, the Jackal play, though, I'm glad to see because, of course, he's not banned, so they're definitely using him on both teams for sure.
So ramping in the same spot, you'd be expecting anybody really in this position to be in. It really gives you a huge advantage when shooting from above. You don't have to worry about any railings and such. Will take a bit of damage from the goo mine, but then should be able to take it off. Laxing with no pest launcher, and some Mozzies actually, what they've been doing is just running the pest launcher with them to use on the drones when they get droned out. So far, nothing done here as Laxing is just sitting back and relaxing.
Nope. So I gotta wonder, do they know he's there? I mean, this Maverick is.
Oh my god.
Bolts is not doing the greatest job of drawing.
Fire away!
That's probably the worst drawing SSG has ever done.
Oh, Laxing finds the kill commando, drops on down, reloads. Sexy reload, to say the least.
That's definitely my favorite reload in the game.
Yes. No question about it. And then it's
till the next ops.
This smoke animation with this charge. So close here. Foxay will peek out and find Rampy as well. Advantage going very clearly in the way of Reciprocity. A lot of castle barricades are really blocking off SSG from doing much. And remember, this site is all the way down in the basement.
Yeah.
So Reciprocity are roaming. They're using the castle. If you're playing this as Space Station and you see a castle that's actually being picked, you're expecting one of two things. Either they're baiting us or they won't actually run it. And
he gets droned and peeks the ash and wins. Only
beautiful.
Fox.
Just Fox things. Laxing will maneuver himself, put himself in a better position here for the play, thinking Nate diving right on down into skies as Chala will find one on Retro. It's Mark and Fox, the last two, both Bosco and Chala being eliminated. Reciprocity put another one on the board.
Great play by Reciprocity. The roam so heavy, but they won their gunfights. That's the important thing. Not only that, but they stayed alive. Fox, especially at the end there. It's just fantastic in terms of their ability to actually hold that for so long and force down the time as far as they did. Reminds me a little bit of better play there from EEG coming out earlier in terms of their ability to hold the roam. We'll see how CEO goes, though, for Reciprocity. It can be a little bit trickier sometimes to roam, but Skies bringing the Vigil, which I imagine they might be thinking might be 6th pick off, but I don't think they would anticipate the 6th pick from the Mozzie to the Echo. So that'll be good. Fultz, though, also going to sneak in the Jackal, although I almost feel like you'd get more value out of the Capitao on this particular site just because of the way these plants have been going down quickly onto CEO. You can make the plants even better by cutting off any of the lines of sight or angles or rotations with the smoke and fire, say from the janitor closet or even from the other office room. So because of that, I don't know, I feel like you could get an easier plant off with Capitao than just tracking people down with Jackal, but we'll see how Fultz plays it. Again, Fultz hasn't been a terrible impact player so far, but you know, everyone's part of the team there, and I don't know. I mean, I guess it's up to SSG to say whether or not he's been contributing more or less than Brian was.
They know best.
I hope so. Interesting spot here for the Echo Drone is the beauty of being able to throw it where you want. You can see a lot there. Because the nice thing is that usually with the cams and things like that in lobby, you can't see ATMs, but they're really denying the lobby. I mean, a castle barricade on the ATM door, barbed wire, and an Echo Drone for it, they really are saying you're not coming in lobby. You'd think they'd want to go lone office, but guess what? That's where Laxing's hiding. So the question is, if they go to engage him in lone office, will he be prepared enough to fight that fight, or will he be on his yokai? I got to imagine he's probably not going to be on it for right now, other than peeking at it occasionally or having another player who's more safe peeking at it. But it's also going to help Skies on his roam, who might be playing around in the lobby at some point. But they're actually droning Garage to come up from the bottom here from Fultz. Interesting choice to come up possibly up the main stairs, unless, no, he's just going to repel and just wants to be safe. But he could be the one to pressure lone office now. If they have an idea that Laxing's in there, could see a great fight from Fultz here.
Chala opening up the front doorway here as Space Station realized that something fishy is definitely up, and the Yokai drone should be watching Rampy here as he enters into the ATMs. Fultz watching rotation. This was already impacted in the past by Reciprocity. That's why I see the hole opened up. Space Station should know there's a few players upstairs, but is there anybody watching from the outside? Yeah, you see.
Again, it looked like a hovering magic, but I gotta imagine that's on the rappel.
That is on the rappel.
Nothing weirder than looking than being on your phone while repelled.
That's something we do.
Kids these days.
This generation. Back in my day.
Yeah, we used to have to stand on solid ground. There we go, though. Laxing that early kill on the Echo. That's the kill they needed. It is Fultz that was able to hunt him down. The trade back from Skies, though, is decent, but overall, the kill onto Laxing much more impactful. Unfortunately, Sky's now pinned down, but the Retro to save him as he falls to his own potential death there.
Oh, no.
No one's going to jump out to save you, Retro.
No.
You are done for this world.
Should be shot in just an instant. See Fultz on the outside trying to find an angle on him, but
swear, if he drops down there and teabags him, I'd be so mad. Ooh, nice spot there from the Evil Eye. Good positioning for that. There we go. Foltz finally to get his second kill from that. But so far, Reciprocity have done a decent job burning time, but man advantage to Space Station.
Fox and Mark, last two alive for Rec. They should have the info here. Bosco's already in. Note that there's somebody in the meeting room. Goodmine's going to get popped by Chala, but he needs to move into the site. Let's hear the Maestro firing off in the back. Mark waiting for an impact grenade to enter into the site and really ruin things for Space Station. Mark comes in from behind and fires, but no, Bosco's ready for him. And Fultz, holding the long angle from the hallway, will take down Fox. Very well done. This is so back and forth, I think.
Don't say it.
I just think. I don't say a thing.
That I don't believe. But which part of it? CEO try again. Decent defense attempt, but just too many people lost in Retro, throwing his body out the window, just waiting to die. Was not the play, Chief. And so far, looking like this could really go all the way to that 6-6. You never know, though. I could see Reciprocity coming back a bit here. It was an interesting defensive setup, I got to admit, in terms of the way they tried to deny lobby. Definitely a different way to go about it. Unfortunately, didn't work in the end. Laxing actually going to be playing on the Mozzie this time. I do think had Laxing lived longer and Fultz not been able to hunt him down, that could have had a different outcome. But I don't know. I always like speculating on that, right? Just these alternate timelines on, you know, what could have happened. Was Laxing John Connor? You know, those kinds of things. So far, though, we'll see. Probably a different setup here this time. Nope, they are going with the Castle Barricade again. This time, though, Laxing, I imagine, might put a pest on that or near it so that they can't drone underneath it before opening it, potentially. But you never know. There is a Thatcher, of course, as well, though. If that ends up being the case, they could Thatch it, although that's definitely a heavy use of Thatcher. Interesting, they opened up that hallway that we saw Necrox opening up with the Havanas.
Oh, yes.
The one that usually has the dock bulletproof camera on it. So, I don't know, they reinforced over it. They did not want to keep it like that.
Even when you reinforce it. I mean, it's still a good thing to do as an attacker. Just go in, open up a hole, because it basically closes off one of the big angles that the defenders use to their advantage and allows you to narrow down the positions that the defense will be playing, either in the elevator or close to the trading room. So
almost always the elevator, though.
Yeah, I mean, in this way, you can kind of shut down one part of the rotation. It just increases the chances of you being victorious in that gunfight.
Well, so far now we move to the droning phase, where they try and figure out where everyone be at. Looks like Janitor Closet is one with the rotation spotted as well, so they have some idea if they're not in that room where they've moved to. Laxing has used all three of his pests, but I can imagine he's going to be on the roam and be a pest himself. Chala, in the meantime, free to go open up the wall here, and this is where it starts to become a problem. Once this wall is open, potential plant starts to come down. Again, they're not bringing that cap tower, though, to be able to do some work with that. They're going to open up both walls, completely uncontested. No wall denial operators, no Kaed, no Bandit, no Mute. So
I haven't really seen a ton of that
No.
day in general, to be honest.
I think they've kind of given up on that. And it's funny, too, we used to see so many impact nade attempts on that, and they just, yeah, you know what, they're just going to open it. But we see once they open it, it does tend to lead more to wins. So, I don't know. It seems not so great. Did have one spot in the lobby with that drone, so I can imagine thinking Nate even might be the one to go hunt him as Bosco tries to help take stock, which... Interesting that they haven't taken stock yet 2 minutes into the round. And Sky's looking for a free repel. Mark is downed in the meantime, though, and finished off by Chala.
Sky's so close to getting him there, but thinking Nate really... Oh, he still gets it. Rampy taken away on the repel. The Zofia off the board. It's a 1-to-1 trade here between the Legion and the Zofia, but... Oh no, false eliminated by Retro. He'll find another one for free. Bosco too slow. And Retro. Another one turning around for the Vigil, but no, Skies is still alive. He still has 20 HP, but he finds the headshot on Bosco.
Retro saved this round.
Thinking Nade all on his own.
Time for a timeout. Just throw your 3 EMPs at least. Come on, so you can say you used your utility.
Well, technically, he could have used his utility a bit better if it was placed on the site.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they're spending this time to talk about how maybe they could have done a better job smoking off so they didn't get that rotate from Retro. Because honestly, that was the game changer. And Sky's, of course, following that up so they couldn't just pick up the diffuser and play. Reciprocity, of course, doesn't know that SSGs is using this as a timeout. So they are, of course, watching angles just in case. But
always
finally,
save the op, man.
Always save the op. Econ in this game is nuts.
Yes. Year-round economy. I'm going to call it. We'll call it a draw.
Oh. No more draws. Forbidden. Well, it's back down to CCTV. Not a lot of creativity coming out from Reciprocity when it comes to bomb sites here. But they'll try. I was going to say try something a little different, but no, Retro going to 6th pick off. They are going to be bringing that Mozzie again, though. SSG not bringing anything terribly different. I got to imagine they're anticipating the CCTV play as it was their successful primary site before. See if they can pull it off again this time. Now, last time worked so well because it was Roam heavy. Retro with 10. Now, this is not to disparage Retro, but I didn't think I'd see the day when he's just totally top fragging for his team. But good on him. That's absolutely fantastic. And you saw some of that last round as well. But will they go for the heavy roam play again this time? Because it worked so well for them last time, partially just due to winning some of those gunfights that were crucial to keeping that delay going and stopping that top-down attack control. I don't know. Laxing going to be on this roaming Mozzie again. Be interesting to find out afterwards, perhaps the interview you can ask if they do win, how effective that Mozzie was for them, whether or not they were able to capture a lot of drones, because we don't always see the effectiveness of it.
Yeah.
That's if Reciprocity wins. They are in control right now, and if we see it go to a 5-5, then I'm just going to assume no interviews. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I mean, we didn't really have too many interviews. Only had one today. With Necrox, we got to see Zoro.
That's the important thing.
Doggo. That's all that matters, and we got to see Peter. So
we didn't get to see Ella, though, because Roke didn't win, so why didn't you win?
We're getting
Roke?
used to that.
Yeah, whoa, Fox, early kill onto Rampy. Now, it was Fultz before playing the Jackal. Now Rampy, one of their best players, I would say, taken down early, and the ability to track taken down early. That means free roam here. They can continue to roam around upstairs as long as they want. Because a lot of the other operators outside of the Ash are more kind of utility. You don't want to be taking them to go roam hunting necessarily. So now a lot of work going to be coming out from Bosco to try and do something about this. But also Laxing knowing he can just kind of have a party here in Kitchen despite being drone out. Unfortunately missing the drone, but he can rotate. Mute Jammers combining, though, with the Pests to really make this hard. First minute burn, not a lot accomplished outside of losing Rampy.
Bosco continuing to drone and making sure that the elevator shafts downstairs are left clear. EMP thrown up.
They don't know that it was 6 picks from the Kaid. So, unless that was a mute jammer somehow on that hatch, that was potentially a waste of that.
I think he already used the thermite charge before the EMP was thrown in. So I am not sure.
I'm just wondering if they thought the Kaid was still there because it was the 6th pick.
Yeah, that's really the big question.
Because they probably haven't droned all the way downstairs to see Retro being pulse yet. So it's kind of funny that the debating worked. Well, Rome still available to an extent here, although it looks like they pulled back. Fox just going to be the main stairs, but Laxing has rotated all the way back to site, and they've given it up. But they've managed to burn a significant amount of time, and they still have the man advantage. They could play somewhat aggressive on these stairs. We could have Fox pushing up with Retro supporting and giving him intel when a push is coming down. Goomines as well from Fox himself, going to be helping himself out. Longer he stays there, you see one Goomine in his pocket as well. They are starting to set up for a push, though. Retro actually too busy watching Gold Vault to be able to doing much there. And we saw actually it looked like Mark holding garages to make sure there's no flag, but plant attempt coming down from here. And why is the Pulse not watching that? I can imagine they already know. C4 attempt coming out. And it's missed!
Gets shot right in the air. You didn't even hear or see any explosive at the end. 5v3 advantage for Reciprocity. Fox, a beautiful shot to eliminate Thinking Nate. Skies with one more. Bosco's last in. He pre-fires. He spots. He continues in with Retro, but all that matters is the W at the end of the round, and that's definitely in the hands of Reciprocity. Fox sticks it after sticking the headshots. Space Station.
Taking this to space. Well,
Team Rocket blasting off again.
That means, though, we are set up for the draw. And it also means, again, Space Station denied a win either way. Gotta say, though, Bosco with the unfortunate timing last round. Had he been able to drop earlier at the right time, he might have been able to get a flank and stop that from being an easy defuse setup. But That was a great collapse. They lost the defuse stopping the defuse. The C4, as you said, getting shot out of the air. They're not able to stop it because they don't play with the smoke. But complete recovery as they had to know that there was no one coming around from server stairs to be able to stop them from behind as the rest of the push was from the hatches. Sneaky 6th pick over to the Jackal again there. And Fox sticking the Caveira. Oh, the memes for Fox.
Okay.
Hey, they're on match point. As Hot Cold said so eloquently earlier, they've got rounds to play with. And they know that SSG...
If this actually turns to a draw...
Because of this?
I swear to God.
You shouldn't do that. Well, they are definitely setting up good castle barricade defense here in terms of trying to stop a lot of the rotations from a lot of the positions. This is an interesting castle barricade setup, the way they're trying to deny rotations from a variety of different angles, and combined with the bulletproof castle or camera on castle. Oh, he didn't see the drone. It's just so rare that you see a castle with bulletproof camera. But I like this setup so far, especially if Fox is able to roam freely. They're going to have a hard time trying to get into sight. They have one soft breacher. If Bosco dies, they've got to manually smack castle barricades to get through, and that's going to be a huge time waster. So they're set up in good position. Skies as well with the Kayet, imagine, to try and deny either the hatches, which could actually be, what they were thinking was going to happen last time, but now they're going to have to use that Thatcher. Or it could just be to try and help with the walls staying up as well. But is this the first buck we've seen all night? I'm trying to think.
So far, possibly.
I think it might be. So we'll see how Rampy does on that, see if that recoil tweak to the C8 is going to really affect him too much.
It's definitely not a stat that I'm keeping track of at this point.
Fox spotted in the elevator.
Oh, very spooky.
He's like going up. Hopefully he's ready for... He's being tracked. Oh, the Jackal track on the Caveira.
He wasn't silent stepping, so can switch between everything.
He's going to get to stepping now that he's getting tracked. He's just going to send him on a wild goose chase downstairs if he's smart about it and then come up at the right moment. But he's waiting. It's him versus Fultz.
Oh. There's also Laxing watching right by the elevator shaft. So Fox is using this also as a bit of a
Fultz
distraction. Oh, Fultz right into him. How did you not see him, Fox?
If nothing else, at least it burned up Fultz's time while he wasn't doing anything else. So there is that, I suppose.
Oh my God.
But definitely not to play Fox.
As an optometrist, I recommend both of you to go to a specialist at this point. Retro on the mute, solo in the site so far. Fultz playing it well, but he's still trying to sneak around. And
I like the double bucking because they've got Jackal helping as well, but it's actually backfiring on Rampy.
Shotguns from below are definitely something that can really ruin your day. And Thinking Age will find one on the mark. Still advantage for Reciprocity. Laxing in the elevator shaft before, but now he'll rotate into Skylight. We're at 40 seconds left in the round. Spacestation really need to start prepping for this one. Grenades being thrown at the back as one more will be launched in from Rampy. And both Laxing and his teammate, the 5-year Skies, they're playing an open area. A few taps from Skies that they will all miss. Chala will find Retro. The site is completely open. Chala with another one onto Skies, just popping off here on the Thermite. Laxing last in, he pops. Hits the headshot on Bosco, but Fultz for the last one. SSG.
No. Here we go again. SSG, though, with a great comeback, a great round overall. Fox, fortunately, memeing his way to the grave, definitely did not work out for him. I think it was a good attempt, though, I'll be honest. Jokes aside, I thought that was an interesting idea, the way he just baited the Jackal, tried to silent step his way up. It was really down to just his lack of perception that caught him in the end. Had he gotten the advantage, because you saw how long it took for the Jackal as well to be able to react to that. Fox could have had the drop, and I doubt he would have gone for an interrogate, but boy, that would have been fun. We have seen that happen before in this map. For example, if I think back to Shate, when he was still on G2, the first match of that season, hid in stock, managed to get an interrogate from Caveira. So, CEO going to be the play here now. Not going to go back to tellers. They don't have to. So they're going to go to next best site they can. Fox with 9, Retro with 10, and no double digits on SSG yet, but Bosco creeping his way out there at 9. Laxing again gonna try the Mozzie here. And this is the last round. Tie or win. Reciprocity know it, Spacestation know it. Gonna be a lot of tension here. Will that lead to spicier, like jump outs or crazier plays? Or will it just be the case where, whoa, that was an interesting move.
That's literally like day one King George Evil Eye.
It's just the way you run across is like crazy looking.
Hey man, if everybody says, yeah, but Maestro is a 1-speed, trust me, if you ran around all day in the suit and the garb that he wears, you would turn into a 3-speed very, very quickly. Trust me.
What an observation.
Trust me. I know what it's like.
Okay, trust me.
I've literally walked in his shoes. It's awful.
I hope you wore socks.
I did.
Deployable shield finally set up there, as it looks like conference room is going to be his Alamo. So we'll see if that makes a big difference in holding this back here this time. A little bit different setup than previous times. But again, the castle barricades being a big part of it. And just this time they actually have a Zofia, but the Bosco bringing out the Lion. So
yes, Space Station want a tie.
Yeah, they want to win this round. I think that's generally the idea in playing this game, is to win, and they would like to do that. Huh. Unless you're Canadian and just decide the round is forfeit and breach charge yourself.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll see Fultz again on the prowl, being a hunting jackal, as he's been doing somewhat successfully. Chala again on his thermite as well. Nothing too crazy from the setup outside the line. The first line going off here to make it so that the thermite is able to do his job without too much interruption. Going for the second wall as well. Again, nothing to counter this. They don't really bring anything to mess with him here. Outside of just roams potentially to come around. Skies could be the one to come around on those stairs again behind him. Chala just looking, going, hey, free real estate, as the other guys would say.
The other guys.
The other guys.
Oh. Rampy still on the rappel. He's got still a lot of lifeline utility to use to stun his opponents, and really stun locking as Zofia is a huge thing you can use to your advantage very efficiently. Chala along the outside, still on the floor. It's a very difficult spot to really play against. Rampy gets Claymored as Retro finds 1 kill on to Rampy.
They got each other, actually.
Yep,
yeah.
So beautiful synergy. But obviously, losing the Zofia to the castle is not...
Yeah. Especially since the Zofia might be necessary for some of those castles.
She definitely had all the utility that was necessary. Like, Rampy would have been huge here.
Oh,
no. Flashbang in the back, as you can see all the fire coming in from Fox, and the Maestro in the back, and Chala pre-firing into him. But unfortunately, a lot of his bullets just hitting the side. Fultz will be eliminated by Fox, and this actually might turn into a victory. Thinking Nade will be forced to dive on in. His guys will find 1 kill. Mark for another, but Bosco will refrag. E1D will be used as Mark finds the last one. Bosco taken away, and Reciprocity secure a victory. Well, on the plus side,
them and Rogue both worked the curse today by losing. Not the way you want to do it. But it's not that big of a surprise. SSG are a fantastic team, but Reciprocity also are. So I'm not terribly surprised to see them win, but now you can ask whoever you interview how that Mozzie went, just out of curiosity. And whether or not Fox's Caveira play was a smart idea.
It's Fox. What do you expect?
Yeah.
So, here we are. I
Here
guess.
we are.
Yes. Hello.
I guess. Maybe we're here?
Maybe. We're like Schrodinger's casters. We're here, but we're not here.
That's right. Only we decide once we open the box. What's in the box?
Well, close game.
Absolutely. I'm glad to see it wasn't a draw, but of course it had to go over to some team, and Reciprocity, in this case, becoming the victor. They are strongly getting their way up there this season pretty well, especially since they're not necessarily the ones drawing like SSG and Rogue. So I'm feeling still like Reciprocity are strong potential candidates for LAN.
Yeah.
But of course, it's a long way off.
It's a long way to get to Japan, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, a reminder just that Reciprocity already tied with Rogue in the previous week, and also Reciprocity beat EG 7-3, which is pretty huge. This might come back to really hurt EG in the second half of the season. But I guess we are getting ready for our interview, so
Fox.
should be able to have a conversation with Fox in a moment. So just bring it up whenever.
Whenever Fox wants to start talking,
Yes.
you can talk back.
Thank you for cutting off Emzo, but what's up, Davide? How are you doing, man?
I'm great. I'm Milosh. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I haven't spoken to you in quite a while, but congratulations on the victory. I hope the escape room was very fun as well, and that next time you'll listen to Fuya. So
That was as exciting.
But a few things that we'd like to ask, and I'll start off with something that Emzo was really curious about.
That was the most aggravating game ever.
I can hear him in the back, but fair enough. It was a very aggravating game, wasn't it? But
Yeah, it was.
a question about the Mozzie. How effective was the Mozzie from Laxing? Was he able to catch a few drones here and there, or was it mostly just stop drones from entering certain positions?
We were using it more to stop drones, which it kind of like did its job. And yeah, I don't know. I honestly wasn't paying attention if he caught a drone or not. I was just getting call-outs. Everyone was getting call-outs, so that's it.
Was Caveira the play?
Yeah, of course it was. I got smoked on White Stairs by Fultz. He's like the best player alive, so what else could I do?
Fair enough. I mean, you were trying to bait him into the hallway where you had a teammate as well in the elevators. It got pretty close, but didn't really work out too well.
I didn't hear him go down White Stairs, so that's why I ran out, not looking that way. So that's it.
Fair enough. When it got to 6-5, were you expecting this to tie?
I mean, the thought definitely went into my head, like, oh my god, we're gonna tie again. Like, SSG is known for tying. I'm happy it didn't tie, and I'm happy we also won. But I gotta say, I feel like it's those SSG videos. Like, they gotta stop it. Like, those videos, I feel like jinxes the team. They always put it, and it's always like hyping them up. I feel like the players don't even like it that much. But I don't know. I'm not on the team, so who knows?
A bit of shade here and there definitely helps in this summer heat, doesn't it, Fox?
No shade towards the players. I love those guys. Like, Fultz has been doing great, so shout out to him and the rest of the team. I'm just saying the org itself.
Those videos, they had a pretty great time, but sometimes, especially with a lot of these ties, they don't really fit the bill, I guess, nowadays. But, you know, you being able to beat EG is definitely something that's going to worry EG later on in the season. Tying to Rogue is something that can definitely be recovered from, but beating SSG so close, do you expect SSG in the second half maybe to have certain change that can affect you? It's 7-5. It's still something you need to watch out for, and Reciprocity wasn't able to qualify for LAN last time because of these tiny, minute differences.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are our biggest downfall, and I think Necroc said it best on LAN. We're tired of losing, but I don't know. I mean, I think SSG and us we're kind of always in EG and Rogue Shadow. So now that we're actually doing well and like beating them, I don't know. I think it's going to be very close. The first season, whoever beats who doesn't really matter. I think it's just who can get the most points. The second half is going to be a lot closer to, because then it actually matters, like for the tiebreaker and all that.
It really the second half, when everything gets put into perspective and you need to understand, like, okay, well, we're literally counting every single point to see where we can win, where we can scrape something to move along and qualifying, especially since this time the finals are in Japan, and I'm pretty sure everybody wants to go to Japan.
100%.
Sure. 100%.
Yeah.
Is everybody going to turn into a weeb here? Are you already a weeaboo and we didn't know about that yet, Davide?
Nah, I don't watch anime. I don't do that.
Good. That's a good thing. We'll make sure to take Suzaku with us to Japan then.
Yeah.
Anything though, at the end of the day here, as the trains are starting to work, it's getting pretty early. Anything you'd like to say to the Reciprocity fans after your very close victory against Spacestation?
Yeah, thanks everyone for supporting us. We got a lot of new fans based off of how we played last season. Shout out to Rec. You know, now that we're in the house again, I think it's a lot better synergy between the team. We're trying to make this our season, and I don't know. Shout out to Fultz and Merc. Those are kind of my boys, and they've been playing really well this season. So, good job on them. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, thank you very much.
Also,
yes.
My bad. I'm gonna let you finish, but
please.
Sky's had the best support day of in my opinion, ever. So, huge shout out to him too for taking that role today.
All right, thank you, Skies. Thank you very much. So again, thank you for contacting us from your wonderful 17th century manner, as I can tell, at least for the decoration in the house. And next time, hopefully, we'll see you on the interview again. So, good night, Davide. See you later.
Good morning.